agricultural technologies are helping Africa grow more food for more people across the continent than ever before. But the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Africa's population and climate change are putting our food systems at risk. Let's join hands to seek and find solutions through technology and innovation to transform agriculture in Africa. Welcome to the 2021 edition of the High-Level Dialogue on Feeding Africa. Leadership to scale up successful innovations. Co-hosted by the African Development Bank and the International Fund for Agricultural Development in collaboration with the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, the CGIAR and AGRA. Be part of the conversation.
And I now have the pleasure to leave the floor to Dr. Agnes Kalibata, Special Envoy of the UN Secretary General for the 2021 Food Systems Summit. Dr. Kalibata, please proceed.
President Adesina, President Humbo, the CGIR, FARA, our colleagues from FARA, thank you so much for launching this engagement and meeting on leveraging technologies and innovations for African agricultural transformation. It is reassuring that we are having this conversation and hearing heads of states pledges at a time when the Secretary General has launched the Food Systems Summit, really trying to put wind in our in our ability to deliver on the 2030 agenda. For Africa to leverage and unlock technologies and innovation for smallholder farmers, there are a number of things that need to be in place. Number one, capacities. We need to have capacities to translate the CGIR technologies and innovations into locally adaptable technologies that can reach farmers at scale. That's why the institution I lead, AGRA, has invested so much in capacity. We are working with 14 universities. We now have over 700 PhDs that are delivering on improved varieties and seeds, building on the CGIR's work, and really reaching millions of farmers. And it's good to note that 40% of these varieties that are out there, just like the chart has just shown, are providing resilience to climate change. The second thing we need is a functional business environment. And many people have said this before me. At AGRA, we are investing in SME capacity, recognizing that 90% of the services that go to farmers come from SMEs, but also 80% of redistribution of food from the farm comes from SMEs. So we have over 2,000 SMEs that we are working with that are doing this fantastic work. Most of all, to unlock scale for smallholder farmers, we must work with governments, we must support government efforts to access resources and all the financial investments that have been talked about here. At AGRA, we are putting Africa's finest youth, Africa's finest brains to helping governments design flagship programs and create pipelines that can quickly unlock resources so that the resources that African Development Bank and other institutions are putting in place can be put to use. We've just launched a center, what we are calling a Center for African Leadership, to help young people that are working with these governments to learn from each other, Africa to Africa learning, to understand how best we can move forward programs and fast track implementation. I want to recognize this effort that is being launched today and say that AGRA is a member of the TAT and we endorse fully what is going on here. And AGRA is an institution that recognizes partnerships. We exist because philanthropic partnership from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, but also bilateral partnerships from FCDO, BMZ, and USAID is working with us. I want to recognize that Africa needs to put and really pay attention to the Food Systems Summit for only two reasons. One, the Food Systems Summit is bringing us together to talk about how we might deliver together. There's no coming through on hunger if we don't come through on climate change. And climate change is not an African problem and is not just an African problem. And we need the rest of the world to work with us. Number two, many heads of state have talked about green economies and greening our economies. The opportunity is huge. We are talking about $4.5 trillion worth of economies that are going to be created as we move forward. These economies are beginning to shape up, and the idea is beginning to shape up. So I encourage African governments to start looking at what this will look like. Lastly, and I want to conclude on this, it's very important for African governments to make bold commitments towards the 2030 agenda. It's very important for African governments to recognize that our planet is at crossroads and we need to be part of defining where it's going. And it's very important for African governments to stand up for the future of our youth, because standing up for the future of our planet is actually standing up for the future of our youth. So thank you so much. And we look forward to this effort. Thank you.